What if our dynamic checking starts to fail us? And how it would fail us is, well, what if I'm just never encountering the scenarios in the code path that's being executed? So if I reuse my check decorator in the same example before, and here I have a code path that will be executed. I'm going to swap, right, x's for the string, which makes no sense. And so this ends up not working and we get our nice type error. But what if I pass in if false? We end up never checking this code path, therefore it's never triggered, therefore the check never occurs, or even runtime evaluation of this line of code never occurs. This means I am failing to catch a possible failing case, and depending on this predicate, right, I have untested code that has not yet executed that will blow up on me, but I won't actually observe it blowing up because this code path will never be reached. And this is very common for a lot of code bases that don't have complete coverage or complete testing. So how can we guard against this? Before we talk about code paths and testing, I want to have a brief aside. Earlier, I hinted at the difference between, right, a type hint or a type check, an explicit type check, and just having Python evaluate an exception for us, right? So what's the difference between this? I say that I have a function f, it takes some value of x's or some list like of x's, and in this case, I try to calculate, right, this is going to be our average, the sum of our x's over the length of our x's. And if we were to type this, right, this would be a sequence or an iterable of integers, probably a sequence because it would have to have a length to it. But what's the difference between passing in f and getting a zero division error and this formulation of our function where we perform an explicit type check before? Right, now we just get an assertion error instead of a zero division error. There's not much difference between these two, especially since all we're talking about is an exception being raised on this line versus an exception being raised on this line. And one of the powerful features that annotations and type hints will give us is the ability to check our code without actually running it and catching errors early on in the process. And so although you get a different exception in either of these function calls, right, it's an assertion error versus a type error, you get the same consequence, right? The program terminates. And this is not just, this is only supplementary, right? We're just adding extra information. We're not transforming, right, any actual result here. And so regardless, you would be able to look at these exceptions and still come to the same conclusion. We haven't really done anything here except for adding a check that maybe if there's a really slow code path in order to perform this operation would benefit us. But I wonder if we could do this another way. How do we catch errors earlier than when they occur at runtime? Let's take a look. Well, we've seen a little bit of this, especially with our uses of metaprogramming. If I have two types, one derived from another. So here I have a base class and I have a derived class. The derived class has a function that calls something that was defined on its base. And so what this means is I can run this program, I'll instantiate my derived class, I'll sleep for 2 seconds, and then I call my base class. And all is good with the world. But what happens if this base class does not have the method we're expecting? All of a sudden, it takes 2 seconds for me to realize that, oh, this function doesn't actually work. Something that might have been simple to catch and something that might have been catchable at a much earlier stage of my program execution. What if this isn't a sleep for 2 seconds and this is a long, full, say 18-hour computation? Not even just 18-hour. What if it was just 2 hours? But it was one of those scripts where you might start it and then you might start it at the end of your day and then leave for the day and you're feeling really good. You're like, oh, I'm doing an analysis or I'm running some automated scripts. It's going to run overnight and I'm going to come back and the results are going to be great. And then you return to work the next day and 2 seconds into your day, you log back into your computer and you're saying, oh, attribute error, derived object has no attribute bar. And you realize that this happened 10 minutes into your expected 2-hour runtime of your program. and you're thinking, oh my gosh, if only I could have caught this error earlier before any computation started, I would have set myself up for success for the completion of this script. So what can we do about this in Python? Well, it turns out Python being as dynamic as it is, we can apply a couple of very explicit checks. Specifically, I'm just going to check, does the base class have an attribute named bar? And in this case, right, we'll start our function, wait 2 seconds, and it'll finish successfully. If my base class does not have the expected attribute, or the expected method in this case, right, I end up not executing any kind of the main portion of my code, and instead I catch my error, my issue, all the way up here when we're just doing class definitions. And so this is a nice way, or an easy way, I should say, of just trying to catch exceptions or errors as early as possible. Because by catching errors early, we're able to preserve our development time, and we're able to avoid long cycles on our iteration loop where we need to check some or write some code, wait 5 minutes for it to run, and then we get to see just on the off chance if it ran successfully. This is what we're going to start alleviating with some type hints. But let's talk about the reverse assumption. Instead of base having a method, right, that's going to be obviously inherited and then called from our derived, what if base calls a method that it's expecting to be defined on its child? And so how do we go about testing this? Well, we can have our same code, right, and this works just as well because D looks up foo, which is defined on base, then says, oh, well, give me the result of bar, which is defined on a derived, and all is good with the world. Of course, if I run this code, if I forget to define bar, well, then we run into the issue of derived has no attribute bar. It's a very similar issue that we saw before. But do note that this exception is not raised until we get to this very last line. And so if I sleep for 2 seconds, of course, we'll have that same issue where errors are popping up late into the runtime of our program that could have been caught much earlier. And well, thankfully, there is an implementation that solves this issue in Python, kinda. And we'll talk about our abstract base classes. In our abstract base classes, right, we have our abstract method, and we can say that bar, in this case, is an abstract method unto of itself. And so what this is saying is that all children who derive from base, or all classes that derive from base, need to have a bar method. And you can see here, when we define our bar method, we print out our starting message, we create our object, we sleep for 2 seconds, then we call d.foo, and all is good with the world. And if we don't define a bar method, you see that right after we start our program, we get a type error saying that, well, you can't instantiate a derived class that is missing its abstract method as defined on the base class. But what happens if we just move our sleep? If the sleep happens before our object is being instantiated, all of a sudden we're still paying that cost. We're still paying that computational cost where I might be doing something and then I decide to instantiate a class, and that's at this point we catch that error. This is one of the gripes I have with the implementation of the ABC in Python. Instead, we can reach for something like init subclass to perform the same check, but perform that check at class definition and not at class instantiation. And so if I have, right, my bar defined on my base or on my derived class, we instantiate it, we sleep for 2 seconds, we call foo, and then we finish our program and all is good. If I forget to add my bar method on my derived, well, we catch that. We catch it very early, and I'll even move the sleep above the instantiation of this class, and we don't even have to wait for that sleep to hit. As soon as the derived class is defined, right, that's when we reach into this init subclass that is launched, and we perform our test or perform our check here to see if class has bar. And this exact idea is what type hinting and static code analysis is all about. It's the same idea of finding an error and pushing it as early as possible into your program's execution. And in terms of static analysis, even before your code has been executed, you've crunched any numbers, you've done anything with data structures or manipulated anything in Python, you can statically analyze your code as long as you've used type hints. And so let's go ahead and we'll talk about, can we statically analyze Python? Let's go ahead and get started. I have a question for you all. I'm going to show you a snippet of code, 2 lines, and your job is to figure out, is this program going to work? I haven't implemented any types. I haven't implemented anything special in this program. Just looking at this, will it work? Of course it won't work, right? You can't take the length of our values 1, 2, 3. And so you might think and say, well, I was able to guess that before I even executed anything. Does that mean that we could statically analyze this code in Python? Well, it turns out that not every situation is as straightforward as this. And I would even go as far as saying that we cannot statically analyze Python with any generality whatsoever. There will be a caveat, but I'll take that same example that I just shared with you, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to launch a thread that's doing some other stuff in the background, and I'm going to check what's the length of 1, 2, 3 of the integer. And you can see that this code runs without exception, without error, and I was not able to guess that just via static analysis. Now, of course, what I'm doing here is I'm importing the built-ins and I'm overriding the len function to always just return 0, no matter what its input is. And so this is completely circumventing, right, any checks going on in Python about what length can expect or what length can operate on. And so, although you wouldn't actually encounter this example out in the world, I would say that this can happen. And this is because, right, Python is extremely dynamic. You can manipulate pretty much anything you want during its runtime. And I will admit, right, this is in itself kind of like an absurdity. Python has, in fact, eliminated absurdities. And we can see that you used to be able to swap the values of true and false. So true became false and false became true. But they actually removed this capability because, you know, there's no actual use into it except for just kind of messing with other people.